is being dedicated Le'iloi Nishmas, Henrietta Weisberg, Henya Bas Yisrael, one of the heroes in our community who just recently passed away. Let me just tell you a little bit about her. She was the ultimate survivor. She was first in the Warsaw Ghetto, then she was in Majdanek, then she was in Buchenwald, and she was forced onto the Death March, and this all was before she was 18 years old. She came here, she built a beautiful family. She has two incredible children, Steve and Julie, and she fought off cancer 3 times, ovarian, colon, and kidney. So she was an incredible human being, and what she was most known for is the fact that she never held a grudge against anybody, and she always had nice things to say about everybody. And let's talk about that actually for a moment, because that's such an incredible trait. In last week's Torah portion, we read about the prohibition against hurting people with our words. Onas dvarim. Painting people, making fun of them, jabbing at them, saying something just that you know is just going to whittle its way into their heart and to their feelings and pain them. The Torah takes that incredibly seriously. The Torah takes our words very seriously. God created the world with speech to teach us how powerful speech is. That speech is what we use to create worlds around us or destroy worlds around us. And I want to tell you an incredible story that I just heard this weekend, a little bit long, but it's unreal, and it just shows you how powerful the words we speak are. There was a man in Israel who worked for the Chevra Kadisha for a burial service. And one day, he's at a funeral, a few months ago, he's at a funeral, and he sees someone left behind this colorful flyer. So he picks it up, and it's a flyer for a service that refurbishes tombstones. It's got a before and after picture. They do an amazing job. He's in the business of Chevra Kadisha, he's in the business of burials. So he says, let me take this home with me. Takes it home, puts it in his pocket, and of course promptly forgets about it as it joins all the other things that are in his pocket. Comes before Pesach. He's cleaning his clothing going through his clothing, and he's got this massive stack of junk and stuff, so he's got to figure out what do I do with it. So he starts separating into 3 piles. There's the pile that I absolutely don't need, that gets thrown out. There's the pile that I absolutely need, that gets put back in the pants for tomorrow. And there's the pile of stuff that I really should get to later. That goes on a special little pile on his drawer, and then he probably forgets about that. About a week after Pesach, on Chav Zayin Nisan, which is just a few weeks ago, he's going through these papers and he sees this colorful flyer for this tombstone refurbishing company, and he starts looking at the tombstone in the picture, and he notices that the date that she passed away was that day, Chav Zayin Nisan, which again is like 2.5 weeks ago. He says, what a coincidence. Not a coincidence, Min HaShamayim. It must be from heaven that I should see this right now. He starts reading the tombstone, and he notices that she's got no husband mentioned, no children mentioned. She unfortunately passed away without any family. He says, who's going to say Kaddish for her? I can't believe this is so incredibly bashar that I should look at it. It's been in my pocket for months. I just saw it right now. It's a sign from heaven. He goes to Shul, and he says, not only am I going to say Kaddish, I'm going to daven for the Amen. I'll be the Chazan, and I'll say all the Kaddishes for her, and he does it, and it's amazing. But he's feeling really good about himself. So when he's finished davening, he goes over to the Rebbe. He was a Hasidic Jew, and the Stoliner Rebbe, who's the leader of his Hasidic movement, is right there. He goes over to the Rebbe. He says, Rebbe, I want you to know, it's the craziest thing. I picked up this flyer months ago. I happened to notice it today. It's a woman with no family to survive her, and I just decided I'm going to say Kaddish for her. The Rebbe says, that's amazing. I'm going to light a candle for her. I'm going to say some Tehillim, some Mishnayos for her. So the Rebbe lights a candle for her, because in the Hasidic world, the soul is very connected to candles. Ner is a neshama. There's a verse describing that. So he lights a candle, and he starts to say some psalms and some Mishnayos for her. Now, all the Hasidim see the Rebbe doing this. They say, what's the Rebbe doing? So all the Hasidim go over, and they say, what's going on? And he explains to them, this is a woman who passed away. She has no one to say Kaddish for her, no one to pray for neshama. So all the boys, if the Rebbe's doing it, they do it. So they all light candles, and they all start saying Tehillim, and they all start saying Mishnayos. But this is Israel. It never stops there. So people start using WhatsApp, the very, very common messaging service that's incredibly common in Israel, and they all start sending pictures of this flyer for this woman whose name is Esther Tova Bas Avram Socher. Then her yahrzeit is this day. Everyone says, please daven on her behalf of her neshama, learn on behalf of her neshama. It's today. Today's the date. And tens of thousands of people all over the land of Israel are learning and praying on behalf of this neshama. How amazing is that? But it's not over yet. There's one person in northern Israel who, when he gets this message, he goes white because he's been looking for Esther Tova bas Avram Socher for decades. When he was a boy in yeshiva, 40 years before, he had a rash on his arm and he went to the pharmacy and he said, I've got this rash, can you help me out? And the pharmacist, very nice lady named Tova Socher, says, sure. And she says, here's what you need. She gives him a cream. He goes to the front, he pays, he's dawdling around the store for a while. He walks out, he goes home, he puts on the cream, no change. Puts the cream on again, no change. He comes back to the store. He's very angry. You gave me the wrong cream. I want a refund. She says, no, I'm sorry. I didn't give you the wrong cream. You were here with somebody else. You both bought creams that day. You both dawdled around after your purchase, and by mistake, you must have switched bags. And I know this because he was here yesterday. He returned the cream and exchanged it. He hadn't opened it up yet. I gave him a full refund. But you already used it. I can't. What am I going to do with an open thing of cream? So he says, what are you talking about? You're just trying to lie to me. You're trying to steal from me. And he starts yelling at her, and he's embarrassing her. And then finally, he takes the cream, and he throws it down on the floor. He says, you know what? Why don't you take this cream and rub it all over your kids? Esther Tova bas Avram Socher did not have any children. And it was something painful for her. And when he said this to her, she was deeply, deeply pained. And this young man, unfortunately, forgot about the incident. A few years later, he's getting married, and his rabbi gives a big speech about how important it is to never hurt somebody with our words. Because when we hurt somebody, we pain somebody, God doesn't let that go. If that person's still in pain, that can carry with you and stay with you. You've got to make it right, or it can stay with you the rest of your life. And he goes around, he calls a bunch of people he knows he offended, but he forgets to call her. He forgets about the story. He gets married. 10 years later, he still has no children. 15 years later, he has no children. And he's driving down the road, and he sees the pharmacy. He was in his old neighborhood. He sees the pharmacy. He says, let me go in. He goes into the pharmacy. He says, excuse me, is Tova Socher here? And they say, oh no, she stopped. She retired 5 years ago. Where is she right now? I don't know. Can you please call the manager? I'd really appreciate it. They call the manager. The manager says, well, it's funny you ask. She moved to Hadera, which is another city north in Israel, and she's in an old age home there. Hadera, it's far away. I'm not going to drive. Okay, listen, I tried, right? I tried to ask forgiveness. It's not my fault. So he goes on his way. 3 years later, still no children. And this time he's driving down a road and he's getting close to that window of opportunity closing on him. And he sees a sign. It says Hadera, 30 kilometers. He says, you know what? I don't care. I'm going right now to Hadera. He goes to Hadera. He asks around, where's the old age home? There's only one old age home. He gets there. He goes up. He says, can I please speak to Tova Socher? He said, we're so sorry. She passed away 2 years ago. He never got his opportunity. But it's not over yet. This man happened to have a beautiful voice, and he loved to daven for the Amma. He loved to be the chazan. He loved to be the balkorei. That was one of his joys. Unfortunately, he didn't have a family. He never had children. But he loved to be the chazan and to be the balkorei. One morning, he wakes up, and there's something strange. He feels weird. And he looks in the mirror, and he looks kind of weird. There's like his jaw is sort of distended. And he opens up his mouth, and like raspy. And he tries to sing. And he goes to doctors. He goes to experts. They say, we don't know what this is. We've never seen this before. There's no surgery we know that can fix this. Your vocal cords look fine. He's like, they're not fine. Listen. Sorry, we can't help you. And then a few weeks ago, he gets this message, please daven for Esther Tova ben Avram Socher, and he says, this is the woman I'm looking for. He tracks down where the woman's grave is using the flyer. He says, where'd you take this picture? He said, oh, we know exactly. It's so hard to find somebody. We use their picture because most people don't want their relatives' graves being broadcasted on a flyer. They tell him where to go. He goes there with a minion, and he hires a minion. He goes out there and he cries and he begs for forgiveness. That Shabbos, he wakes up and he goes to the restroom and he looks in the mirror and something's different. His chin is like back like it used to be. He can't believe it. He goes, no! It's beautiful. 2 weeks ago, this man goes to shul. The regular balkorei wasn't there. There was supposed to be a replacement. He didn't show up. This guy says, you know what? I'll sing. I'll lead the Torah reading. I said, no, sorry, dude. He's like, no, trust me. And he gets up there, and he reads the parsha beautifully. And by the way, the parsha that he read beautifully for the first time, after asking mechila, after asking forgiveness from this woman for hurting you so many years, was exactly the Torah portion that had the commandment about being sensitive to other people's feelings. So we never know how important it is. This story happened this year. The words that we use are so powerful. Mrs. Henrietta Weisberg, her whole life, built people up with her words. The Torah gives us the charge to take our words very, very seriously. Here in America we say, sticks and stones can hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. In Judaism we say, but words will make all the difference. Let's make them count. Thank you.